Rain had been falling since morning. Water ran down the sides of the road, carrying paper, leaves, and dirt. On a corner near a closed bakery, a young girl sat under a torn plastic sheet. Her name was Anna. She was 18, barefoot, and hungry. We bring you the story of a homeless girl called Anna who saved a dying man not knowing he was one of the rich billionaires in the country. Grab your popcorn and enjoy this amazing story. She had been homeless for almost a year. Her parents died in a road accident, and the relatives who took her in later threw her out. Since then, she had slept wherever she could, under bridges, in bus stops, on verandas. That evening, the wind cut through her thin dress. She wrapped her arms around her knees. She had not eaten since yesterday, but she was too tired to beg. As darkness came, the streets grew quiet. Anna stared at the bakery. She could still remember the smell of fresh bread before it closed. She was about to close her eyes when she heard a faint groan. She sat still, listening. It came again. Pulling the plastic tighter around her shoulders, she followed the sound. She had no idea her life was about to change. The sound came from a narrow alley between two tall buildings. The smell of garbage was strong, and water dripped from a broken pipe. In the dim light, she saw a man lying on the ground. He looked in his 50s. His shirt was soaked, his lips pale. Beside him was a briefcase, half open with papers sticking out. Anna hesitated. She knew some people pretended to be hurt to rob others, but his eyes were shut, and his face was twisted in pain. She knelt beside him. "Sir, can you hear me?" she whispered. His eyelids moved, but he said nothing. His forehead was burning hot. The street was empty. She had no phone or money. If she left him there, he might die. She tried to help him sit up. He groaned, but she held on, even as her small body shook under his weight. "Come on, we have to get you somewhere safe." Step by step, she dragged him from the alley. The rain had stopped, but the air was still cold. She remembered an old clinic 2 streets away where a nurse sometimes helped street kids. Her arms burned as she supported him. Twice she nearly fell. Finally, she reached the clinic. The nurse was about to lock up but quickly opened the door when she saw Anna. "Put him here," the nurse said, pointing to a wooden bed. Anna lowered him slowly, trembling from the effort. The nurse checked his pulse and temperature. "This man needs more than I can give. His fever is high, and his heart is weak. He must go to the hospital." Anna had no money and the clinic had no ambulance. The nurse wrote something on a piece of paper. "Take this to the hospital on the main road. They'll send someone." Anna ran through the wet streets to the hospital. She gave the paper to the emergency desk nurse. Minutes later, 2 men with a stretcher followed her back to the clinic. They lifted the man and carried him to an ambulance. Anna climbed in without asking. She sat quietly at the back as they placed an oxygen mask over his face. At the hospital, doctors rushed him into a treatment room. Anna waited in the corridor, dripping water onto the floor. An hour later, a doctor came out. "He's stable for now. If you had been late, he might not have made it." Anna felt relief. She wanted to know his name, but the doctor was already gone. Anna stayed outside the hospital all night. She had no bed, but she didn't want to leave. She worried he might wake up alone. In the morning, a nurse asked, "Are you related to the patient in room 12? Anna shook her head. "Then you can't stay here," the nurse said politely. Anna walked away, her stomach empty. By evening, she came back and sat on a bench across the street. She could see the light in room 12. The next morning, she went back, but the bed was empty. He was moved to a private room, a nurse told her. His family came. Anna nodded slowly. She didn't know if she'd see him again. The man's name was Richard Hale. He was one of the richest men in the city, owner of hotels and factories. When he woke up, his assistant told him about the barefoot girl who saved him. He asked for her name, but no one knew. He sent his men to search for her. They went to the old clinic. The nurse described Anna and where she might be found. For days, they searched alleys, bus stops, and abandoned buildings. Some people had seen her, others not. Anna, unaware of the search, kept surviving, sleeping under bridges, finding scraps, and avoiding trouble. One Sunday, Anna sat outside a small church, hoping for leftover food after the service. People came out laughing and talking. A tall man in a dark suit stopped when he saw her. "Anna," he said. She looked up. It was him, the man from the alley. "You're alive," she whispered. "Yes," Richard said. "Because of you." He took off his coat and wrapped it around her. "I've been looking for you everywhere. You saved my life. Now it's my turn to help you." Richard took her to his car, gave her food and water, and listened to her story. She told him about her parents, the relatives who abandoned her, and her year on the streets. "You didn't just save my life," he said. "You reminded me kindness still exists." They reached his home. The gates were tall, the driveway long. Anna stared in shock. From now on, this is your home, he said. Richard gave her a bedroom, clothes, and food. He hired a tutor so she could study again. He checked on her every day. One evening, he gave her an envelope. Inside was a scholarship letter to a top university. This is my thank you, he said. You gave me life. I want to give you a future. Anna cried. For the first time in years, she saw hope. Months later, Anna was no longer the barefoot girl hiding from rain. She was in school, making friends, and dreaming big. Richard became like family to her, a mentor and a reminder that kindness can change lives. Sometimes, when the rain fell, she remembered the night she followed a groan into the dark. She knew that moment had saved them both. Whenever people asked why she had helped him, she always said, because it was the right thing to do. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.